Hi everyone, this is Tanya here with the Memory Lane Keepsakes, and welcome back to my channel. I want to thank you guys so much for taking our time to join me today. Today is going to be a little different type of video. I recently just went on my first family vacation for the whole family, so I was really excited. Although my husband and I do a lot of traveling, this was our first official cruise as a family. So what I'm going to do is go over our experience, and please understand that my channel is mostly about crafting and also different life experiences, and I also talk about shopping hauls and different things like that. But the whole reason why I chose to do my YouTube channel was to basically give you guys the truth about my experience and also different things that I find that I can help you guys with while you're pretty much out there shopping or when you choose to travel with your families. So this video is strictly based on my opinion as well as my special guest today. So I will be bringing in my special guest as my husband, Damon Kennedy.
Hello, YouTube.
Hi everyone. So we went on the MSC cruise. It was the MSC Seaside, and we actually took this cruise in February while the kids was on their break. And so we're going to go step by step and explain to you and tell you some of the different things we encountered on our first cruise together as a family.
Now, first things first, this was my fourth cruise, and Tanya's been on 5. She went on one extra one with her mother. So we're generally experienced with the whole cruise lifestyle. So this experience right here was not unbeknownst to us, not having any experience previously cruising. We have been on cruises before, so I want to make sure that's clear on the front end. One of the things about when I set up the cruise, I wanted to originally set up the Celebrity Edge, which is a brand new ship, but MSC actually had a cruise ready for the date that my daughters were out of school. So one of the things I had to, as responsible parents, you don't want to take your kids out of school for a vacation for a whole week. So MSC actually happened to have an open date, a sailing date for a date that our daughters were out of school. So I set it up. It was a brand new ship, and so I figured what's the worst that could happen, a brand new ship, everything should be pretty good. Now, as things happen, I looked at YouTube prior to our sailing, and I saw some negative comments about the food, about some of the entertainment, and I figured that, well, these were a year ago, surely they've kind of made some revisions and made some changes to their itinerary and to their menu, so, you know, I don't want to get myself too worked up. Everything should probably work out. But as we continue kind of going on, we'll kind of see that everything that we thought was corrected wasn't necessarily corrected. So.
And the MSC Seaside Cruise, this was a 7-day cruise that we took as a family. And I'll be honest with you, the ship is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, beautiful. They had these Swarovski floors. They were just so beautiful. It was like 3 flights of them. And I did take some pictures that I will share at the end. Some of the different photos that I took on the cruise ship to show you guys, like some of the photos of the food as well as different photos of us while we were on the ship and even off the ship. I really love the way the ship was laid out, but at the same time it wasn't really easy to navigate through the ship, meaning from getting to your room or getting to the next floor, because it was such a crowd on the elevators. The elevators were a decent size, but when you have like 15-20 people trying to get on one elevator, it took a little longer for the elevators to stop on the floor. And when you're up on the floor like we were, because we were actually on the 14th floor. So being on the 14th floor and everything is pretty much like on the 6th floor or the 7th floor that you're trying to go to, you're not going to walk those stairs, whether you're in great condition or not. That's just a lot of walking for a 7-day cruise throughout the whole day. So those are some of the different things that we want to discuss with you, because I felt like those elevators could have been done a little bit better. They sometimes when you want to go up, the ones going down will open up, and then vice versa, the ones going down and you want to go up will open up. So that was a real trip and a treat for us, and we learned a lot from that as well. But now we're going to continue on with some other things.
Now, everything wasn't bad. So when we first got on the ship, the embarkation process was pretty smooth. Some of the, like I said, this is my 4th cruise, it's her 5th. So some of the other cruises we've been on before have been kind of a long, drawn-out process to get on the ship. This one was pretty smooth. What we did is we handed over our passports and our daughter's birth certificates. They took our little pictures, gave us our little key cards that we used when we got on the ship. So that was a pretty smooth process. Took probably maybe 10 minutes to get all that to get on the ship. Once we got on the ship, there was a kids club on board, and they gave They basically gave our daughters a couple of little wristbands that they were able to, whenever they went to the little kids area on the ship, they were able to check them in and out.
Yeah, those are the security bracelets just to make sure if they did get missing or lost and happen to venture out with somebody not watching, if that happens to happen, that way they could have scanned it and been able to locate what room and who they belong to, so they can pretty much communicate throughout the ship with the parents if needed. So that was a good little feature that they had. I felt like the activities probably could have been better based on what my two daughters, our two daughters mentioned. They said they enjoyed it just a little bit, but they said they really didn't get to play some of the activities that they had to offer in there. But being so many kids, I'm not, however they had it structured, they did what they had to do. But to be honest with you, we didn't really utilize it throughout every single day we was on the ship. We probably did about 2 times the whole time we was on the ship, and then when we did it, we didn't even let the kids stay for the whole time. Although they did have it set up to where the kids could have stayed for lunch as well as dinner. They did have that option for you. You just had to fill out a little sheet letting them know that you wanted them to stay through that process and everything. But we chose to have our kids with us since it was a family vacation, with us at dinner every single night, and also, of course, lunch and then dinner. And so that's how we just basically chose to do it.
And then also, once we got on the ship and they gave the girls their security bracelets, we were immediately able to go to our room, and our bags hadn't arrived yet, but we were able to go to our room, want to kind of check everything out, get the pictures of our room, of our balcony, and everything like that. Now, when we got in the room, it was still daylight outside, so technically we didn't necessarily need the lights, but we wanted to kind of, well, actually inside the bathroom you need the lights. So I tried to turn on the lights, they didn't come on. So I was like, oh, here we go. First problem with the cruise. Also, they have a safe inside the room. That safe, obviously I've used safes before in different hotels and on ships we've been on before, so I know how to operate them. But I looked at the instructions, looked at them again, it didn't work. So ultimately we had to have the safe reset, and since the lights didn't work, we had to go down to guest services, and we waited in line. Obviously the first day of cruising, the line is always going to be long because everybody's kind of getting acquainted with the ship. So we waited in line, and one of the guest services individuals mentioned that, well, did you put your key card in the little slot? Now, hindsight 2020, there is a slot when you first walk in the room, but I've never had to use my key card to get the lights.
And nor is it labeled. That's the other thing. Nothing was labeled in the room. And that was like, really? So we're just supposed to automatically know that you're supposed to put your key card in it because it's so, quote, eco-friendly, really. So that was a real surprise to us, learning that bit of a note. And in addition to learning about those lights, the guy did say that he was going to go ahead and send somebody up right away for the safe, which he did. He kept his word because we did try to call downstairs. And being the fact it's the first day, of course, everybody has their different things going on and different questions they want to ask, making sure everything is squared away. So their cruise or their different days on the ship will go across smoothly. So the lines, nobody was picking up, at guest services from the phone from your room. So that was a no. So don't even bother even trying on the first day, guys. I'm telling you, don't waste your time. So anyway, we also learned, in addition to going downstairs, which I'm glad we did, that you also had, and this was a real shocker, you had to book all of your shows for the week.
Yeah, that's new to me. Like I said, most other ships we've been on before, the one previous to this, it was on Royal Caribbean. I mean, it might be a bigger ship than this one, may have been the same size, I don't know. But we were just able to show up for those shows. So, I mean, we had to, check. I mean, we had to check in for each one, which, again, if that's kind of how they do it, it's kind of inefficient as far as the way I'm thinking about it. But if that's how they do it, that was kind of an annoying thing on my part, because let's say we didn't pay attention to that and we wanted to go to a show, and let's say the 9:45 was pretty much the prime time show that most people wanted to go to, and if we didn't see that note about having to check in, we would have been out. So that was kind of unfortunate how they did that.
Exactly. And then they only had like 2 shows for some of the shows that was going on the ship that week. And then the thing is, our dinner was like at 7:15. And my husband was smart enough to know that, okay, well, we're not going to make like the 9:45. Well, what was it?
It was 7:30 or 8. It was 8 o'clock show, or I believe. So 7:15 was our eating time.
Yeah.
And then there was a show that it was either 7:45 or 8 o'clock. And I knew good and well that,
And he was right. Oh, he was right. So we actually booked the last show for every single night, and I'm so glad we did, because dinner, that's a whole nother topic. We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
So where should we go from here?
Well, one of the things is going back to the lights. Yeah. So when we come aboard, they have a welcome aboard little newsletter or whatever. And so this would have been the perfect spot to talk about, hey, by the way, there's a key card. You use that to get the lights working in your room. So again, I understand the whole eco-friendly thing. You don't want people leaving the lights on for no reason. So I understand that piece of it. But it would have helped for them to put it on this little newsletter to let everybody know when they come aboard, hey, use this to make sure you have your lights. So it would have saved us some issues of having to go to guest services. It's one of those little things I think adds up. And being a newer ship, they need to kind of iron out the little kinks to make sure that moving forward it's going to be a lot more seamless process for everybody.
Exactly. And just like most cruises that you will take, if you have never been on one, they do also your, what am I trying to say? The person who cleans your room basically will, that's it. Yeah. The guest steward will come to your room, and they usually bring your daily program to you. So you will receive a daily program in your room, your suite room, every day while you're on the cruise, so that way you'll know what different events are taking place and where you're going to be docking at that next day, and different things to kind of get things in order. So it's kind of like your organizer or planner in a sense. That does help, but that was even another.
Yeah, and speaking of which, so having been on other cruises, again, this daily program, it helps you to know what events are on each day, as Tanya said. But the thing is, from some of the other cruises that we've been on before, when I look at the daily planner on some of the other cruises, they have so many different things on a daily basis that things stack up. So if you wake up 10 a.m. in the morning, and let's say 10 a.m. there's trivia and there's some other things on the, in the pool deck or whatever, there's so many different things at the same time, you've got to kind of, say, I really want to go to this, but I can't. On this ship right here, to be honest with you, on any given day, there was literally probably maybe 2 or 3 things I cared about. That was it. So the number of activities, the ones that they have, they need to kind of step their game up, because MSC, apparently it's an Italian ship. They're looking to kind of make headway into the U.S. market, but if they're going to compete with the Carnivals and the Royal Caribbeans and the Norwegian Cruise Lines, the Disneys of the world, they're really going to have to step up as far as just everything, really, from their food to their daily planner. So a lot of things I wish they would have done differently, honestly.
I agree. And based on that, have you guys ever been on a cruise? And if so, I would like to know down below in the comments, which cruise have you been on and what was your experience like? So we're going to talk a little bit more about the MSC Seaside and our experiences, so that way we can help you if you're thinking about planning a vacation, taking a cruise with MSC. Now again, this video is basically based on our opinions and our experience, what we experienced as a family. But at the same time, in no form or fashion is this video to basically, it's to help you or assist you along the way. But again, at the end of the day, I know the decision is clearly up to you, but we're just going to give you the truth and just plain simple just tell you what it is. This video, we are not being paid for this. This is basically our own time and what we chose to do, basically to give you the information on, again, how we experienced this. So we're going to continue with that. Now with that being said, now let's get to dinner. So our dinner again was at 7:15, and they assign certain tables for you. So your table is already pre-assigned to you, and the times that you set up, if you didn't already set it up, with your travel agent or whoever you have that pretty much booked your cruise. And so we had a decent table. We were by ourselves as a family, a table of 4. Now the tables were on the small side. They was like, to me, cocktail tables. They were really tiny. And so if you like to eat like we do, no one getting all the dishes and different things we like to eat as a family of 4, that was going to be very challenging. On another thing, the drinks. So
all right, so the package that we had, they had drink vouchers, right? So most ships I've been on, it's all inclusive. The drink package may be separate, but they have a system that they can swipe it on your card and know what's what and all the other stuff. Well, on this one, they actually had vouchers. So you actually had to give the voucher to the waiter, and they had to also get your key card, and it was just kind of a messed up situation. It kind of took a lot longer than we would have necessarily liked to get the drinks. So what we figured out, though, after a few days in, is that when you give the waiter at the main dining room your drink ticket, all they do is take it and give it to the bartender, and they go to the bar. Well, what we did moving forward, we just went straight to the bar before we came to the restaurant and just got it way quicker.
Basically trying to save time because we knew it was going to take a little bit longer to get those drinks. It was one night, I didn't even get my drink and dinner was almost over. And then it was one occasion too, I ordered a pina colada. It wasn't a virgin one. I got one that night, and that drink, I was good up until I saw a little piece of hair in my drink. So that kind of like really messed up my whole meal right there. And I am funny. I'm not trying to eat nobody's hair, okay? So that really kind of just turned me off, and I really didn't want it from there. But, going forward, I chose to go ahead and go to the bar and get my drink, as my husband mentioned. We just did that before dinner time, so we planned it a little accordingly, so that way we didn't have to wait pretty much all night because, of course, they don't have the proper mixers and different things within that restaurant. They actually have to go out where it's at, and being the fact that it's dinner and they're trying to accompany so many people, it took a little longer than expected. They also had soft drinks and different things you can order from there, but myself, I'm not really huge on like the heavy drinks, so I like more of the mixed drinks, like the pina coladas, more of like the strawberry daiquiris, different things, and just name a few. And so most of my drinks had to be, it took a little longer to make those and bring them. I get the fact that they give you your menu, and as you sit down, basically you'll bring your bread to your table and they come over and give you water, and that's when you do your drink order, just, any restaurant. But based on that, when you would get your menu, they had a kids menu, and then they also had the adult menu, of course, the regular menu. And so my oldest, we let her, she wanted
to eat off the big people menu. So now let's go back to the menu though. So the kids menu was kind of unusual from what I've ever seen before, but they had on the kids menu on one page they had 0 to 12 months, and then they had 12 months plus. It's pretty big gap there, right? So anyway, on one day, one of the appetizers was, I think, it said mozzarella and tomatoes or something like that.
Yeah,
and so granted it's for kids, so it can't be too out there as far as too outlandish and whatever, but it ended up being some cut up blocks of mozzarella cheese and some tomatoes. It took like 30 minutes to get there. I'm like, seriously, come on.
Yeah, we got our food first, and our waiter, he apologized, and I adored our waiter. He was awesome. And it wasn't his fault how fast the food and different things were coming out. And although the waiters do get blamed for a lot of the things, a lot of times it's everything that's going on in the kitchen, so you don't get to see that part. Behind the ugly curtain, as they would call it. But the thing is, we was good with our waiter. I adored him. He was the life of the party when it came to dinner time, as far as his personality and different things, because I saw the man working. He did his thing for the most part. But some of the dishes, I have to be honest with you, my favorite thing I would have to say was the Greek salad. And all the other nights they had Caesar salad, and it was one other salad on there that I didn't even pay any attention to because I didn't really care about it. But the Greek salad, they had it on there one night. I didn't see it again ever since then. They changed a few things, but some things stayed consistent throughout. So you would start with your starter, you would have your entree, and then you would choose your dessert. Now, a lot of y'all don't know, but if you cruise like we cruise, you can order more than one dish on the ship. You don't have to just stick with just one starter, one entree, and one dessert. So, of course, being who I am, I want to try different things out. So I would order like 2 starters, 2 entrees, and 2 desserts just to try them out and take a lot of photos and different things. Now, you can call it what you want, and I don't think it's being greedy, but look, you already prepaid for it.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, I want to experiment in different things, because they did have some nights they did have the shrimp cocktail on there.
That was good.
That was pretty good up until the last 2 nights, because they changed the shrimp out, and that was not good. At that point, they changed it to a different type of shrimp, and I'm not crazy. I know my taste buds, and that was different towards the last 2 nights. They were wrong for that. So the other thing was, be careful about what it may say, because like they say, don't judge a book by its cover. Even with the desserts.
So basically, there was a brownie dish.
They called it brownie.
They called it a brownie dish. It was, what would you call it? What kind of consistency would you call it?
Honestly, it looked like a chocolate cake. That's it. Mousse? That's exactly what it looked like.
So, it was not as advertised. When I think of brownie, I think of a brownie. Like Duncan Hines, whatever. Exactly. But it was not a brownie. But anyway, moral to the story is, again, this is an Italian ship. And so they had, there was a lot of Europeans on the ship. And which is fine in and of itself, is no problem, but apparently MSC is trying to make headway into the American market, but in doing that, they're going to have to know that the American palate is different than every other place. Because if the food on this ship was emblematic of what Europeans kind of eat, honestly, it was kind of bland, to be honest with you.
It was.
So again, if that's how Europeans eat, if you're European and you're watching, there's no offense, but Americans, we like our spices.
Exactly.
we like our seasonings. So having said that, moving on to the buffets.
Oh God. No.
So the buffet, they were trying to appeal to the American market without really knowing how to do it, right? So every single day they had at the buffet, they had hamburgers, hot dogs,
pizza.
Well, pizza. I mean,
Pizza,
here's the thing.
standard.
It's an Italian.
Right,
It's Italian ship line. You would think they would nail the pizza. Not really. It was kind of hard and chewy
and the hot dogs.
Okay, so let's go back to the hot dogs. I'm sorry, I got off track. So the hot dogs, right? So they didn't look like they cooked them that well. It looked like they boiled them, for all I know. Whatever. But then the fries too. On a 7-day cruise, there may have been one good batch of fries the entire ship, because they overcooked them every single day. You know what I mean? So they got to really get that right. It's not hard. Go to McDonald's or something like that. Figure out how they do the fries. Nail them every time. They're gonna have to figure that out, because that was terrible. Also, probably the second or third day on there, next to the burgers and the hot dogs or whatever, there was a little sign that said, "Hey, upon request can provide." I think it said turkey sausages or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me get one of these. Cool. So the chef behind the counter, he said, okay, come back in 5 minutes. I was like, cool, bet. So I come back in 5 minutes, and okay, everybody's watching out there. Y'all know what a turkey sausage looks like, right? What I got was not a turkey sausage. It was a turkey hot dog. They looked like they boiled it. I'm like, well, okay, these are beef hot dogs. This is a turkey hot dog. If you call it turkey sausage, I expect turkey sausage.
It was a hot dog link. That's all it was. I mean, I'm being honest with you. It did not look like nothing sausage related to me.
I'm not a difficult guy, but I mean, if you call it something, I expect something. I expect a turkey sausage.
Personally, I just didn't have it, because I was just over it. If it didn't look right, I didn't have it. I'm just going to be honest with you, because my thing is, some things, again, don't judge a book by its cover, but then some things too, for you to pick it up, it has to be appealing to you. And if it doesn't look like it's going to be good, or is just something just off about it, trust your judgment. Just go with your instinct and just stay the heck away from it. Because like, one of my issues that I had was basically the silverware. I was consistently, and I have my moments, but I'm just going to be honest with you. How many of you out there like to eat with dirty silverware? Because I don't. So it was a lot of days, or pretty much every day. It wasn't a lot of days. It was every day. Let's clear that up first off. So I went through probably 2 to 3 different things of silverware that was wrapped up in a napkin, because it had food on there. So you can tell that whoever was washing them, they just kind of ran them through the hot water and just dried them off and just wrapped them back up for the next set of guests that was coming through. I had a major issue with that. My cups were consistently dirty. So I got to the place where I was drinking from the paper cups that they had for the special guests. And another thing, the soda, or the soda pop, or different things you would call it, you actually had to use a card. You had to pay for that. So that was not one of the things that was offered to you. With the package that we had, you got cranberry, lemonade, water, and there was probably a few other things, maybe apple juice and something else, depending on what room you was in, a restaurant you was in eating that particular moment or that day. Not to mention, one of the places, and I did bring that to their attention about the silverware and different things like that, I consistently kept changing it. And it was funny because one day at breakfast, there was one of the waitress. She asked me, she said, "Is something wrong with your spoon?" I said, "Yes." I said, "This is a, what did I tell her? I told her this was a continuation of something that I do on the regular, because I'm finding that a lot of silverware is not clean." Now, she might have took it the wrong way, have you, but I'm not going to eat dry the food. And I did ask different occasions on different days for other silverware if something was like really caked on or something was on there. You don't have to take my word for it, but I'm telling you, if you go on a cruise and you see that, or even any other restaurant, you can see that it's got like water spots and different things. Okay, that's one thing. You can ask for a hot cup of water and get, whatever off, but it's not even that serious. But when you clearly see there's grains of rice and you don't have rice on your plate, that's a problem for me. I'm sorry, but it is. That's a major problem for me and one of my pet peeves. So, once I got through that issue, I was good to go. But that was one of my main things in the cup. So make sure you are checking your things. Don't be so quick to put it in your mouth before you actually look. I'm just going to be honest with you.
And also too, they had on several days they had chicken tenders and also fish sticks. I'll be honest with you, the chicken tenders and fish sticks from my local grocery store tasted better. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. There was a lot of different things they needed to do to improve moving forward. If they're going to try to make headway into the American market, they're going to have to improve their culinary selections, because Americans, we love to eat and we want our food flavorful, not burnt, not overcooked, not undercooked, but cooked just right with the right flavors and spices, whatever. So that's something they're gonna have to figure out. Another thing too is a lot of the some of the guests were kind of rude. Would you say?
There were a few. Some of them the first night for dinner, like a few of them almost tried to tackle down Jasmine. And being the mom that I am, be protective of my kids. I'm not going to let somebody run over them, to get to the dinner. Like, excuse me, there's manners. You learned those in elementary school. Please use them. So, we said excuse me, different things like that to different people, using our manners and different things. But you had a few guests. I'm not going to say a lot. A few guests that absolutely, their manners went out the door. They didn't care which way have it. I mean, they just basically did them. And it got to the place where I was like, I was done. I was so done. Then we did run into a lot of nice couples.
Oh, yeah.
We ran into a lot of nice couples. Everybody on the ship wasn't rude. There was just a few. But some of the couples we met, they felt and to be honest with you, they're not here to basically disclose that here on camera, but I asked them, just clearly asked them, because I'm that person. I would go through the stores. If I want to know something, I'm going to ask you. So basically, I went to certain couples, and I would, struck up a conversation and different things. And I would just ask them, how are you, experiencing, or, are you having a good time here on the ship? A lot of them, some either laugh, or some of them like shook their head, or some just really quickly say they were not having a good one. They were ready to get off, and that's pretty sad.
A couple of days in,
because
they were saying they were ready to get off.
You actually have to plan for that. Everybody's not walking around with a certain amount of thousand just to throw at you for a trip that you've been planning for over a year or 2 years, for that matter. It takes time to save up for something like that. And it's kind of disappointing just to hear that everybody we talked to, no matter what age, no matter what religion, no matter what race, it didn't even matter. That just went out the window. Everybody we spoke with basically had nothing good to say. And that was just our experience, and it was really sad. I mean, because we felt, we already had our own opinion, but we just clearly just asked different couples, like, are you enjoying yourself? And a lot of them said it was ready to get off the ship. And I heard there was one couple that actually did get off the ship. Mm-hmm. They actually got off at the first port, which was San Juan.
San Juan, Puerto Rico.
That's sad.
Now that we're talking about San Juan, let's talk about it. So, most ships that we've been on, when they dock at a certain port, they dock at 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. So first thing in the morning, they leave out like 5 p.m. Well, in San Juan, we arrived at 5 p.m. and we were supposed to leave San Juan at 1 a.m. So that already was kind of like, I don't know. So a lot of the stores would close at probably 7, 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So by the time we got off, if they docked at 5, by the time you get off the boat, it's maybe 5:30, close to 6. Well, you technically only have another hour before some of the shops close, right? So you really don't have a full scope of the day to really do what you really want to do. You can't do really any excursions because it's going to be dark in a little bit. You can't really shop the way you want to because some of the shops had closed. Then if you want to eat at some of the local establishments, you can maybe do that. But there really wasn't a good opportunity to really check out the island. Now, luckily, we've been to San Juan before.
Yeah, we have as a couple before we had the kids. But here's my issue. Okay, 5 p.m. docking, that's mad late. Come on, let's get real now. So most ships, they get you there early that morning. You have the entire day, based on what my husband said. It's true. This ain't our first time cruising. I mean, as a whole family, yes, but not my first time, not his first time. But being the fact that my main issue was we had to hurry up and take the photos or the pictures while we still had daylight as a family. That was one thing. So we rushed doing that by the time you got off the ship. The next thing was it got dark so fast. Did you feel safe? And you definitely want to be out there by yourself. Roaming, the streets of San Juan, Puerto Rico, that's not safe alone. Walking the streets late at night, that's really not safe. So that was one of my main issues, especially with 2 small kids. So that was one of my things there that kind of really upset me. I was kind of outdone because in addition to getting there late at 5 p.m., we left at midnight.
That's what I'm saying, 1 a.m.
Yeah, 1 a.m. But still ridiculous, guys. I mean, I really had a major problem with that.
There were some other people that were on our ship, and they put out some videos and saying they felt safe, which is cool. But everybody's not the same. So again, let's say you're a solo person coming on a ship. Daylight hours in most ports, they're kind of touristy, so there's a lot of people. So you're definitely going to feel safe. So there's a lot of people. You can't really. Not saying you can't be a victim of crime, but a criminal is not going to be really dumb enough to really accost you in front of a lot of people, right? But if you're walking the streets of a foreign city, then you sometimes you walk the back streets, you don't necessarily know where you are. It can get kind of dicey, I guess. So,
exactly.
Anyway.
So we went to just a few shops, and based on that, I took a few pictures. But one of the things I did like, since it was still kind of U.S., we were able to go ahead and be able to turn our phones on. So I was really happy about that. I was really happy about that. I was so excited, and it's sad because you on vacation. But I was still happy to be able to phone home real quick and just say hello, how is everybody doing? We okay? And that kind of thing, just checking up. Let them know that we were good and different things of that nature. Didn't last long, but I did enjoy the moment that I had doing that, and be able to check my YouTube.
Yeah, because they do have a Wi-Fi package, but it's kind of pricey. I mean, it's a cruise ship. So, I mean, I don't begrudge them for that, but it's like $200 if you wanted the full week for the Wi-Fi. So we were like, nah, we're good.
Exactly.
So it was alright. But one of the other things when we first got on the ship is they had a zip line, which I was trying to reserve that for some point during our cruise. And we got on the cruise, was it Sunday or was it Saturday?
It was Saturday.
Saturday, right? So on Sunday, that first day we were at sea, I went down to the little area where they have the bowling and they have an F1 simulator, and that's where you get you purchase the zip line passes or whatever. So I did that there. And the first couple of days we were like, well, let's do some other stuff on the ship. We'll probably do the zip line towards the end of the ship, right? Towards the end of the cruise. So probably Wednesday, I tried to actually go zip line, and I think it was raining that day, and they closed it. So it was supposed to be every day between 10 and 1 and then 2 to 5. So they had a little hour for lunch in there between 1 and 2. So they had 2 different times during the day which you can go up to zip line. So Wednesday didn't work because it was raining. Thursday, I guess it was windy or something. They didn't let you do it then. Friday, it was supposed to, again, from 10 to 1, 2 to 5. Got there at 10:30, was about to zip line with my daughter. They said, well, I guess I'm being told they won't let me start until 11 a.m. So I was like, here we go. So at that point, we had other things we wanted to do, so I just went back down to the entertainment area where I purchased a zip line and just got my money back for the zip line. So unfortunately, I'd love to be able to tell you the zip line was great. I didn't get a chance to do it, so I couldn't tell you.
But just understand that it is an option for you if you're not happy with any of your services or different things, whether you pay for a dinner in advance. On most cruise ships, you're able to get a refund and just tell them what the issue may be. Not that we just go around doing that, but seriously, if you're not happy or satisfied with the service that you've received, or you didn't get a chance to experience what you paid for, definitely, go to guest services or, try something like that and just see. Because you don't want to be disappointed and then out your money at the same time. So that's one thing there. Being that that's the fact, so a few nights, I would say a few mornings, we did have breakfast in the
seashore restaurant.
Exactly.
And so instead of doing a buffet, they actually have a sit-down restaurant where you can actually eat breakfast.
They do. And then we did order some mornings in the room, so you do have that option as well. And then they have a strict breakfast menu that you can order in your room, and they have the basic.
That's complimentary.
The basic.
Right, very basic.
And then they have the other side that you actually have to pay for, which was like $7.95 or $8.95 or something like that. And when I say basic, I'm saying basic, guys.
Muffins, cereal,
milk.
Yeah. Fruit. And by the way, the fruit, you got to kind of do the work yourself.
Oh, yeah, it's not cut up. I was thinking it was going to be cut up.
It was like a bowl with an apple, a whole apple, a whole pear, a whole orange. You got to do the work. So
honestly, if you can get up and you're an early riser, I would recommend you definitely eat breakfast in the restaurants if you're able to, and they have a cutoff time at that. But you know, ordering in a room, let's say for example, if you just really want to experience that, and like we had a balcony room, and our room was pretty decent. The girls love their bunk beds. I mean, they've been asking for them ever since. They said that was their favorite part, was the bunk beds. But being able to have that balcony, you know, your room is a little bit bigger, so that's one of the bonuses too. And then we had our bed laid out as well, so it was really, really decent for the most part. But you know, now speaking on some of the different professionalism when it comes down to some of the employees, everybody on that ship, it was just different encounters. One being, I went to the MSC shop after dinner one night, and this was the logo shop where you can actually go and purchase some of the things with the MSC Seaside logo on there. And so that night, my husband and my little one went back to the room, and my oldest was with me, so Jasmine was with me. And I went to the shop and I picked up 2 of these bears. So this is the bear that I got right here. This is the MSC Seaside First Time Cruise teddy bear. Being the fact that it's not my first time or my husband's first time, it's our first family vacation. So I got one for Jasmine and one for Aaliyah. And I also got a little tiny small bear. So I waited till the night where they had the 20% off each particular item that you would pick up. And it was only running for about an hour, maybe 2 hours that night. And so after dinner, we had our show to go to. So I had just a little bit open window to be able to go ahead and purchase this. At the time when I had entered that shop, there were a few people in there. By the time I got in line and looked up, there was even more people in there. And the shop is not that big. Just picture like a little hot dog hut. Or like a little ice cream. Like, for example, I would have to probably say Smoothie King. Like if it was the one of the little standing buildings by itself, not in a complex or a little shopping mall area. Picture something like that you just kind of drive up to and it's in the middle of a parking lot. That's kind of the size of the little shop, to give you a general idea. So as I was in line, I had a few people in front of me, and they went ahead and checked out and got their items. And I waited, and so my daughter and I proceeded to come up. Now, if you don't have your card on you, because at the time my husband had my key card that particular night, because I forgot to get it back from him, no problem. As long as you know your room number, they can go ahead and charge whatever it is to your room, so you can pay it off at the end of the ship. No big deal there. So she went ahead and asked the room number, and as I proceeded, we went ahead and took up my 2 teddy bears, and I also had this little star one that was the MSC logo mascot little thing that they had. So a little starfish thing. Thinking a little starfish thing might have been, I thought it was like about $5.50, $6.50, something like that. It actually rung up like $10 or maybe $12. And I asked her to please remove it, but before that, she rung up my order, and she actually did it wrong the first purchase. When she did it, she forgot to add the 20% on. She went ahead and fixed that and said, okay, well, we'll credit that back to your account, no problem. So she proceeded to go ahead and ring up the 2 bears and the little star thing that I had. When she did that, the little star thing came up something different. By that time, she had already printed out the receipt, and she was saying, here you go. I said, no. I said, that's not the right price. She said, yes, it is. She said, because it had the sound on there. So I went to proceed to tell her, I said, I'd rather get another teddy bear. So I got a miniature teddy bear similar to this one for my niece back home. And so I went ahead and did that. But at that time, this is what got me. So getting the teddy bear, she tells me, she looks at me and said, well, ma'am, you're going to have to come back. She said, because my line is all the way out the door. And she said, I can do it then and later. And she looked at me, and I was just kind of surprised and puzzled by that. And I said, okay. I took a moment. I said, I'm going to be good. So I was like, I looked at her and I said, here's the thing. I said, you rung it up the first time the runway with not putting the 20% off. That's your bad. You fixed that. I let that go. Now I'm letting you know that I didn't understand that was the price of the other stuffed animal. So I'm going to need for you to go ahead and correct that now, because I won't be able to come back due to the fact we're going to the show in a moment, and they was going to end the sale. She said, well, no problem. I would go ahead and still honor the price for you, but I'm saying you're not understanding. I want to go ahead and fix it now. So she went ahead and did 2 credits. She did the first one that she messed up with not putting the 20%, and she did the other one. But the whole time, her face and her attitude and her demeanor had totally changed. When I clearly just told her, I said, well, we need to go ahead and fix it, right now. And she said, well, you see my line? I said, I see your line. I said, but I'm a customer too. Because she went to say, well, I have other customers in line, so what am I? I'm a customer as well. So I really didn't like her response on that. I don't know if it was a race thing. I'm not going to go there. I totally didn't even care about all of that. All I knew at that time was I wanted the service, and I wanted to be treated just like everybody else. So being the fact, and she went ahead and fixed it, but a manager walked up, and my only thing on that is he was asking what was going on. He could have easily opened up another register. There was only one register open up. that was kind of sad within itself. If you really want to help, find you another restaurant and figure out a way to get all these customers checked out. And then that's pretty much, how that went. So I really didn't like that. Her attitude was horrible. There was a few different other employees on the ship that rubbed me the wrong way as well. Everybody on the ship was not, I wouldn't say rude, but there was some different attitudes on the ship that I really didn't care for, to be honest with you. But I took it with a grain of salt, and I basically, showed them that I was bigger than that. But it was really hard to bite my tongue on a few of them, but a lot of them I did stand up to and say, hey, you can't treat people like that. It's just not right. But this is the little teddy bear that I got for my 2 daughters, and I got a miniature one for my niece. So I just wanted to share that little thing with you there. So, I was just kind of surprised at that, because you would think that the guests would get more professionalism towards them, than how I was treated. I just really didn't care for that too much.
Yeah, so, and then one of the things too that they really need to fix moving forward is some of their culinary items, again, weren't the best, but then when you did really find something you liked, tell them about that a little bit.
They took it off the menu. So, for example, back to breakfast again. So they had these Belgian waffles, and they were so good. I really like the Belgian waffles. I have a certain palate, and the Belgian waffles were really small, but you got 2 of them, and they were so delicious. The last day, they took it off the menu, and they replaced it just with regular pancakes, and they still had their grits and their sausage and their bacon, which I didn't order none of the pork stuff. I didn't want any of that. But I was disappointed that they didn't have the Belgian waffles. And they also had the hash browns that were cut up in triangles. But one of the things that kind of got me, I asked the girl, I said, where are the Belgian waffles? And she said, oh, we don't have those on the menu today. We're keeping the menu kind of fine because we're y'all about to get off, you all are getting ready to get off the ship and everything, disembarking night. So that kind of really got me. I was not happy about that. But here's the thing. I did order my hash browns with my breakfast that morning. And what really got me was the fact that my whole family heard me order them hash browns. I purposely think that they really did not bring those hash browns. And maybe I could just be, I don't know. But I never got them hash browns, y'all. So I was just feeling some type of way. I was too ready to go and just get off that ship. But yeah, that was pretty much how that went.
But then there was a day you wanted ice cream real bad, right?
Oh, God. There was a lot of days that we all wanted ice cream. They had...
It was on
one of the restaurants.
So there's 2 different buffets.
There's
one on the 8th floor, which was the main one that was always open. Then there's one on the 16th deck that it was open kind of whenever they felt like it. And
basically,
so that was the one that had ice cream. So they had the cones and then the people behind the counter. So it's not like one of the ones where
you can just walk
up to and do it yourself, which is I prefer that. I'd rather the employees actually do it. Because sometimes people are nasty, you don't wash their hands. But anyway,
that's true. But seriously, MSC Seaside, what are you doing? Seriously, because guys, they had kids on the ship, but not even that. Being an adult, I wanted an ice cream cone. So you can either get vanilla, chocolate, or the double swirl, with the vanilla and the chocolate together, combined. So they closed it 2 days out of the time we were on that 7-day cruise. What are you doing? Seriously, the only place you could get the free ice cream cone, and they did have gelato, but you did have to pay for that. But it was kind of ridiculous to me. My girls were like, Mom, we want an ice cream cone. I said, I do too. So we was too ready for that to hurry up and open up. So I don't know what they doing. My thing, if it's a 7-day cruise and you pay for one, you shouldn't be closing your restaurant. So you're wrong for that. So I really had an issue with that. That was one of my things there. So, and then the way everybody would come, it was almost like a herd of like a cattle. It was crazy. So one day I picked it perfectly. I went right when it opened up. And it was so peaceful. And then next thing you know, 30 minutes, bam, it was almost like just everything. It was just it was crazy. So I was, after I ate, I went ahead and just made my way out because that was just too much going on. People came in there all kind of wrong.
Now, one of the things about the ship is everything wasn't horrible. I don't want to make it seem doom and gloom. Everything was absolutely abysmal. Some of the shows were pretty decent. Right, so the very last day of the show, the Friday, was the Michael Jackson Star Walker. So there was a Michael Jackson look-alike. He looked like Michael Jackson, danced like Michael Jackson. It was a great production. They had a woman that was dancing on a pole, which was that was great stuff, but it wasn't for the kids.
It was a little exotic. I mean, I'm gonna give it to the girl. She did her thing. She had that. Do you hear me? She worked that pole. But here's my thing with that. They could have put like a message or kind of informed the parents that it may not be for your young one because that was a little too much. And she won't taking nothing off because she didn't have much to take off. But it was just my point of the fact that you got young virgin eyes looking at this. Really. I mean, like, can you leave it up to the parents to decide if you want your child to see that or not? That was a little too much. And I had an issue with that too.
So that was the last day of the ship, of the cruise, and so then after that, the following day was that Saturday, so it was the final day of the ship. And actually, let's go back to the day of the Michael Jackson thing. So the cruise director, after the Michael Jackson show, got on the mic and kind of said to everybody, hey, are you ready to, get off the cruise? And he was expecting everybody to be like, no, we want to keep cruising. A lot of people were like, yeah, get me off the ship. So that was kind of a funny thing. He wasn't expecting that answer. But long story short, I mean, overall, I've cruised before. And this, if I had never cruised previously, MSC, this experience, I probably would be, cool with never cruising again, to be honest with you. There were just too many things that just weren't the way they really should be. And the way that Tanya's talked about her experience on the Disney cruise with her and her mom, apparently Disney is going to be the creme de la creme. So that's going to be, you got to mortgage your house basically to go on a Disney cruise. But, but I think, I guess if we get our pennies together enough, we can probably go on one of those. But MSC's got a lot of different things they need to learn and grow to get better. So again, this is not just rip them apart for no reason. We really want them to be better because when other people go on an MSC cruise, we want them to be able to know that, okay, this, Damon and Tanya don't know what they were talking about. This is great. So hopefully the constructive criticism will help them out. They need to work on their menu. Their menu needs work. Their daily programs, they need some more things to do there. Their shows were okay.
Cleaning the silverware and the cups. Gotta clean those.
Now, the final thing was obviously on the Saturday, Disembarkation. Us getting our bags was pretty smooth. That was good. When you get off the ship, they have the day before they give you the number that you put on your luggage, and then they set you up at different times during Saturday to get off the boat. So you get off the boat, you get your luggage, and you make your way to the curbside to get your ground transportation. That's when it just becomes Sparta. At that point, it was just, I had no idea what was going on. So we rented a rental car with National Rent-A-Car. I didn't see the bus, so I called National, and there was a bus. They said a bus was maybe 5-10 minutes away. It was closer to 20-30 minutes, but whatever. So then the bus comes, and I was about to get on the bus, and there's no markings at all anywhere on the curbside. So everybody's waiting. Nobody knows if you're waiting for an Uber or some bus, shuttle bus or whatever. So the National bus comes up, and there's so many people there. It was one of the smaller buses. You could probably fit maybe all 20 people on there. So I was in line to try and get on the bus, and there may have been 40 plus people, and then there were some people who thought they were going to make their way. They had come in last in line, thought they were going to get on first. And boy, this dude let him have it. He was like, no, I've been here 2 hours, no. So he had to basically get the cop involved to the point where the cop had to you thought something was about to go down. So there's got to be there's got to be some signage or something to where, look, Uber people are going to be here. Ground transportation for rental cars is here. And they've got to work out the signage better because it was just a free-for-all as far as getting the ground transportation.
It was, and I also have footage of that as well because I did take time and film that chaotic moment. Guys, it was sad. I could barely breathe. Like, the air was so polluted with people smoking and then the different fumes coming from the different cars and buses and different things. It was so many people like pulling luggage, people trying to find where they need to go. I mean, it was people like cussing, like just all kind of craziness going on, like stuff that you didn't even want your kids to be involved in. So I was just so ready for that whole situation to be done. So we basically would have had a complimentary ride right back to the rental location, but sadly enough, my husband decided to go ahead and pay for the Uber so we can go ahead and get out of there, and I was just too happy. That was probably the best.
It was like $35
he's ever spent. I was so ready to go.
But I wasn't about to wait for a second bus, and then you got more people trying to herd on to one bus, and then you get into a fight over that. It wasn't that serious.
Especially with all the luggage we had.
Yeah, let me just get an Uber and call it a day. And the Uber guy was real cool. So anyway, we ended up on a good note, and we ended up driving back to Atlanta, and so it was a good. It was a good ending of the trip with the Uber guy. He was cool, but in general, MSC, would I do it again? No. If they got some stuff to work on. So I'd love to see in the future there's MSC Seaside review where it's like, man, this thing was the best thing ever. So in that case, if that's the case, that means MSC took some of our critiques and some of the other people's critiques and made things better. So
exactly.
Definitely got to fine tune some stuff, but next time for us, it's going to be Royal Caribbean or Disney. So
I'm in agreement. MSC Seaside, I wouldn't take this cruise again. They definitely have a lot of fine tuning to do, as my husband mentioned to you all. I'm in agreement with what he said. Based on what we experienced, but again, they do have time to get it right, and hopefully your experience won't be just like this how we explain. But if you have experienced any of the things that we talk about, please comment down below. Give us your opinion. We want to hear the feedback from you and just know how, you know, did you cope with everything? If you was on the same cruise that we was on, or you experienced some of the same different things that we encountered, because again, we are on here just to give you our opinion solely based on how we felt about everything that happened to us, and different things on how we saw it and how we felt like it should have went. So feel free to definitely, you know, comment down below. And also, if this is your first time ever joining my channel, Memory Lane Keepsakes, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and also click that bell for notifications so you'll be notified when new videos come out. I want to thank you guys so much for taking our time to watch this video, and I'm so happy I had my husband as my first guest on here. And stay tuned for more to come, and also I will have pictures at the end of this video, so make sure you take time and look at those if you want to see some of the different things that we did. All right,
bye
bye. So this is the end result of the cruise ship. We just got off the MSC Seaside that I never want to go on again, and trying to get back to the rental car. My husband called this rental car shuttle that was supposed to be free, which is like 30 minutes ago. It just got here, and you have all these other people that's been waiting as well as us. And so literally like to be in a brawl with a lot of other people in front, because they've been waiting over 2 hours. And they pull up, and all they said they had was 20 spots left to get on. This is ridiculous. So if you guys have ever experienced this, I would like you to comment down below and let me know how your experience was, and what did you do different to get away from the port, so that way you can get back and on with your travels. This is Tanya here with Memory Lane Keepsakes. I would like you to subscribe, comment down below, click the bell for notification, as well as give this video a thumbs up, because this is a nightmare. It really is. So this is what we're looking at, the same bus we've just been waiting. And I've been on several cruises, and I have more videos coming out to share with you guys about my experience for the 7-day cruise that I just took with my family. So make sure you stay tuned for that as well. So they're still loading people and all their luggage. And the door is just closed, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's leaving, and now we continue on with the wait. There it goes. That's the bus we thought we were supposed to be getting on. Apparently not.